Modern technology, man.
Yeah,
You gotta
at least
love
we got to reload our
it.
coffee.
We got coffee. Yeah, so that's important. I don't know what happened. It said that I needed to log in again, and I never logged out.
I don't know.
And I didn't have to log back in. It's bizarre. Oh,
Sorry.
important stuff. Is that the bat
Facebook
phone?
calling.
Oh,
No, just kidding.
I didn't know if that was the bat phone. Like they're gonna.
No, that wasn't the bat phone. But if that one goes off, I will be
Yeah.
exiting the camera.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So tell me a little bit about you. How'd you get here? Are you from
Yeah.
here? Like, what's your background?
No, originally I was born in Chicago, but I moved here at a young age and moved to Cookeville.
Mm-hmm.
And always loved aviation. You know, from the time I was probably this big, just always had a passion for it, and ended up starting at Tennessee Tech because I was in Cookeville, but then I transferred to MTSU to the aerospace program.
Nice.
And came down here, kind of set up a life for myself, and went through the program at MTSU. And the timing was good for me because it was about the time that they were transferring this airport from Nashville Airport Authority, who owned and operated it for 20 years, to the newly created Smyrna Rutherford County Airport Authority.
Okay.
So that's when it was transferred in ownership from Nashville to Smyrna and Rutherford County.
So Nashville took over when the
military base shut down. And so in 71 or 70, it shut down as Seward Air Force Base.
uh-huh.
Nashville Airport owned and operated it for almost 20 years. But toward the latter end of that 20-year period, they were building a hub for American Airlines. Weren't really focused on this airport. So a group of politicians, the chamber, people like that in Rutherford County said, hey, now this airport's in Rutherford County. We really need to have control and operate and develop the airport.
And it was a tremendous resource. I mean, it's not like it was a little dinky.
No, I mean, this
airport.
It's really the third by size. We have 1,700 acres, so it's the third largest airport in the state of Tennessee.
Behind Memphis and Nashville.
Right.
Respective in that order.
Correct, exactly. And, we have one runway that's 8,000 feet long. The other one's 5,546. So
that sounds long to me. How?
Yeah. So 8,000 feet is a mile and a half. And it's 150 feet wide, which most airports, smaller general aviation airports, they're 75 or 100 feet wide. So we can handle anything here up to and including 747.
Is there anything that you can't land here?
Space shuttle. No. We did a flyover though once. No, I mean there are some large aircraft that we wouldn't want to have in here on a regular basis because the runway itself is not stressed, for that repetitive use.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the big Russian Antonov aircraft, and we get C-5s in here from different areas, and C-17s out of Memphis. So we regularly get unscheduled charter flights, but like MTSU football team flies out of here. The people that they play fly out of here. And it's on charter stuff like you probably fly out of BNA, 737.
Mm-hmm.
And the Delta, charters, Sun Country, Allegiant, different ones like that.
You mentioned the C-5. That's the big,
big military one, you're right.
Like the really big one.
Right. We usually try to get one of those for our air show.
Right.
When we have it.
Yeah.
So when it opens up in the front and the back.
That thing's massive.
Right.
Yeah. You park, what is it, like 8 school buses in it?
Yeah, I always wanted to make that the entrance of the air show. You always walk in and come through.
That's a good idea.
I kind of thought it might create a bottleneck.
I don't know. It's pretty wide in there. It might not. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, Smyrna, I almost said Smyrna Laverne, Smyrna Rutherford County Airport Authorities formed in 1991. You said.
Right.
And where did you come in? Because there was a guy before you, right?
Yeah, I came in 91, and a great guy by the name of Steve Fitzhugh was here. And Steve he was a retired colonel from the Air Force. So when this was Seward Air Force Base, he was stationed here twice, 2 or 3 times. So he was here during the military reign, and then Nashville Airport Authority took it over. He retired from the military in the late 60s, and then he went to work for Nashville Airport Authority. So then he was over this airport again.
Oh, wow.
And then when Nashville gave it up and we took it over, that board that was in place hired him to start the transition. And then he hired me. So he was one of my great mentors. Love Steve and all that I learned from him and his family. And, we got the great. Oh, there we are.
Yep, it does that every now and then.
Okay.
It blinks in and out.
All right.
crazy
So
stuff.
so we were, that was where I got my start. He gave me a chance, and
So had you been over
Yeah.
any airports before, or I mean,
I had really not, I had flight training and so forth, and all my background at MTSU, but I had done in my previous life before aviation, growing up, my father was a contractor, so residential and commercial. So I had a lot of experience in the contracting world. And as it turns out, airport development has a lot of that element in it.
absolutely.
So, being able to read a set of plans and work with contractors and all that is really important. So it kind of worked. I mean, my initial plan was to go fly for a living. And it's a timing thing that in this industry, sometimes it's down here, and unfortunately that's where it was when I was going down that path. It was tough to break into it, and the pay was extremely low. Right now, it's the total opposite. It is absolutely the best time to get in if you want to fly, because there's a lot of people that are retiring out of the system. There's a huge pilot shortage. So, but as I got into it, I really like the management end of it too, and so that's kind of why I switched.
Very cool.
Yeah. Then I went back, got my master's, and now I teach at MTSU as an adjunct.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So are you teaching
I teach.
flight, or?
I teach about
the
5 or
management
6
stuff?
different courses in management in the graduate master's program.
That's awesome.
So it's fun, yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so been doing that about 15 years.
Very cool. So what's I know you've got a hard break at 9 o'clock, so kind of get to the good stuff. What's going on over here? Y'all have grown a bunch, even in the last 5-6 years.
Oh yeah. Well, if you could look out the window here, you could see a lot of activity on the ramp and so forth. Have our big fish fry next door with the Rotary.
Mm-hmm.
But where we're sitting is kind of the cornerstone of what we call the Airport Business Park. So it's a 400-acre development that this area contains the airport terminal and 2 what we call FBOs, or fixed base operators. We've got Contour Aviation and Hollingshead Aviation. So when people fly into the airport, that's where they go. And we really are the front door to Rutherford County for really the major clients that come in, maybe to locate here, or maybe they're already located here and they're just using Smyrna Airport to travel.
So CEOs and
Nissan.
such that are coming in to scope out the area.
Absolutely.
This is where
I
they
work
come.
with the chamber all the time, and there's
Yeah.
people coming in here. And,
So you know all kinds of fun stuff, don't you?
yeah, some of it I can't tell you.
Right.
But so like I said, this is kind of the cornerstone. But further back in the development, we have built a new corporate world headquarters for Contour Airlines, which they operate the entire airline from Smyrna.
Tell me about Contour. What do they do?
So Contour has the fixed base operator here next door. They also have an airline that runs and services what they call the essential air service routes. And these are from cities that are large enough to have some air travel, but they're a long ways away from a major city with air carrier,
Give me some
support.
examples. Of
So Jackson, Tennessee, Tupelo, Mississippi, Shreveport, Macon, Georgia. So they fly these routes in between. They'll fly from there to a major city. If you drive into Nashville Airport, as you're driving up the curb and you see the signs, for all the carriers, you'll see the first one says Contour. So you can get on one of their flights from Nashville and fly to Tupelo. The only reason we're not doing it here is, and this is in our master plan that we're working on now, is to have a terminal that can accommodate passenger service. But that's one of the big things we're working on, is our master plan for what's going to happen here next 15, 20 years. And passenger service is a big deal. And
Yeah.
we're planning for a new passenger terminal, remote parking, the whole bit. So that's going to be included in this 400-acre business park.
Okay.
So we kind of have the FBO area, the kind of the corporate area where people come in and go out of our community. We have an airline that is run out of this side. We have future terminal that's going to be located just north of the terminal here. And then we have an industrial park, which we've been developing with a company called Hillwood. Hillwood is out of Texas. It's a Ross Perot company.
Mm-hmm.
And they have been helping in partnership with the airport authority, the business park. And they've built 2 buildings. One of those is already leased to NFI, who does the logistics for Lowe's home improvement stores, and that's their large appliance division. So it's full of washers, dryers, refrigerators, stoves, stuff like that. Then they built a second building, which they are working with some future clients, potentially targeting those suppliers for Nissan, because Nissan would like their suppliers to be within a 5-mile radius. So that's kind of what they're targeting for that one. And then there's a third building that's under construction right now, and they're talking to a client for that one, which I can't name yet. And then they're going to build a 4th building, which will kind of build out that industrial piece of the business park.
So in that industrial park, is it, and forgive me if this is an ignorant question, but are those the people that you would target for those would have some need for the airport, or is it just purely an industrial?
It's a yes and no answer, really, because yes, they do have components sometimes, that might relate to aviation. For instance, as soon as Lowe's went in there, I see the Lowe's airplane pulling up here a lot more. Now, to move the goods that are in there, no, not at this point in time. But these are going to be there a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows how things evolve, and the way we buy everything now.
Right.
The little camera lens right there, you probably bought it on Amazon or something, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So, those small things that are moving, Amazon has their own airline now. So, there's potential because they're located on an airport in the future. They might not be aviation now, but that lease runs out. The next one, hey, it is.
Right.
So the attractiveness of that, the people that are locating those, they love the fact that the airport's right here.
So you had mentioned getting a passenger terminal. Do you guys do a lot of freight in and out of here?
We do a fair amount, most of it for Nissan, obviously, since it's only about 3.5 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
But we also do some for the other auto manufacturers that are in this area, because we have that 8,000-foot runway.
You land big heavy stuff.
We can land the heavy stuff, whereas some of the other outlying airports that might even be closer to those plants cannot accept it. So we do a fair amount of freight. We have a small UPS flight every night, and a FedEx flight every night in here. But cargo, honestly, is not our main focus. Our main target market is corporate aviation.
Gotcha.
That's what we want. We don't, we want to be community friendly also, and cargo runs all night long. But we'll never probably have a lot of success at being a major cargo
It's not what you're set
destination.
up for.
Yeah, and there's a reason for it too. Nashville's tried, and they do some, but not a lot. But we're really right in the middle of a triangle. You've got FedEx in Memphis, biggest cargo carrier in the world.
Right.
UPS in Louisville,
Mm-hmm.
another major, next biggest one in the world. And then Atlanta, believe it or not, has a lot of cargo.
Makes sense.
So we're really right in the middle of a triangle. So no one's really going to go to the middle of that triangle
Unless it's really specialty,
Right.
like we need it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why, even if we wanted to be a cargo airport, we would have a hard time being one.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense. Well, this one has to be a short one, man.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. You got a lot of important stuff to
We
you.
can keep going a little bit. I don't see anybody showing up yet if you want to.
They're all late for your meeting.
Yeah, right. They're late for
Oh,
the
that's
meeting.
not good, John. So, tell me what else you guys got here. I mean,
All
I know
right.
you got the blimp thing and the
We have an interesting operation there.
Yeah.
We are the East Coast maintenance hub for a blimp operation, which not many hangars can hold a blimp,
right.
but that one is a big one. It's 60 feet tall inside. So we can fit, one day I went in, they had 4 blimps inflated inside the hangar with the doors closed.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was wall-to-wall blimps that day.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of neat. And so if you see, more of them flying around this area, and these are mainly the ones that are not Goodyear. So if it's not Goodyear, it's these guys.
Okay.
And actually, though, once in a while, they've actually helped Goodyear, and they've put Goodyear on the side of their blimps when Goodyear was short. But yeah, they're coming here to do their maintenance, and this is the time of year they're out working because
Football games.
this is football games and that kind of season.
Yeah.
And there's one that's in particular you'll see around here, and it is ship. ship in the sky. Don't get alarmed. It's just a blip.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so you got that, and you've got corporate flight out there, right?
Yeah. So we've got a big maintenance operation on the other side of the airport. We're getting ready to build a new hangar over there for some increased maintenance activities, which will produce a lot of good paying jobs. Behind those hangars, I think I've shown you one day, we have a big solar farm over there.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a 1 megawatt solar farm. It has about 3,400 panels. And we're part of our sustainability program.
So does that power the airport, and then you have overflow that goes into the grid, or what?
Yeah, exactly. So if we're using a lot of power here, most likely we're getting the power from that. But the way that TVA explains it is kind of like a plumbing system. You open up the faucet over here more, and that's where the power is going to go, whoever needs it. But it's been great. It works great. It's like I said, part of our sustainability program here. We try to reuse as much unused asphalt and things like that. And we even have an apiary. We have we're raising bees now on the airport for honeybees. Yeah, I'll have to show you that one.
Where's that?
It's over behind the solar farm, right near it.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So we're hoping next year we'll have some airport honey.
That would be
awesome. We have the
awesome.
perfect name. I'd have to give Nikki a shout out for this because she helped come up with this. But the first plane to fly here back in 1942 was a B-17. So we're going to call it BEE-17 honey.
I love it. I love it. That's fantastic.
So we get a jar. I'll give you some.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Next year.
So if anybody, all right, so last thing, if anybody was interested in getting into aviation in some context, let's go specifically with more the management side of things, not necessarily flying, because there's flight schools all over the place.
Right.
What kind of path would they need to take?
Well, MTSU is the great place to go to get that done. And there is a specific concentration in the aerospace department for admin, management. That side of things, like from the engineering world and management of airports, are really short on airport planners right now. So if someone,
like space planners, like laying out an actual airport.
Exactly. And that, to me, that's a really interesting part of it. So if someone wanted to go that route, let me know. I'll help get you connected the right way. But it's a combination of knowing about aviation and what, that whole world is about, and the business. So it kind of combines the two.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had those two elements in your training, then yes, you could break into it. And the cool thing about aviation is, and everybody in this business is really passionate about it, and they just love it. And I love it. I mean, I just love coming to work every day. I mean, who gets to do this? My wife says I work in Toyland.
You really do. Yeah, so
just with bigger toys.
I may swing this camera around here in a second and show them. We're surrounded by airplanes. It's pretty amazing.
Oh, and the thing that's going to happen today is not yet, but they're evacuating the coast because of Hurricane Michael. We're expecting upwards of 50 to 75 airplanes coming in here to Smyrna to hang out while the hurricane passes through.
No kidding.
Yeah. These guys that are out here right now, these trainers are from the Pensacola area.
I got you. So there's, and I'll swing this around here in a second, but there's a couple of Air Force trainers here. Pretty neat.
Yep.
All right. And then last thing, if they did want to learn to fly, just your regular old average Joe that wants to learn to fly, give me the 5 bullet points on that.
So Wings of Eagles is one of our flight schools, and ATP is the other. And they can come and get a discovery flight is the best way to start. They'll take you on a discovery flight for about 30 minutes to an hour and let you take the controls, check it out, see if you like it. And then, start to finish, you can get your private pilot license in about, 2 months. Now the going rate is around, $12,000, $15,000. But it's well worth it. There's nothing like, leaving the ground and just taking off.
And how much is a small plane that I could fly around to Huntsville or whatever?
How much to rent one?
No, just to own one.
Oh, to own one. Oh gosh, it ranges
a little 4-seater.
Yeah, I mean probably in the $50,000 to $100,000 range. The used ones, around the 50,000 mark. And then if you want to get into something new, you're probably around 150 to 300,000.
Gotcha.
Yeah, at the beginning. And
right.
But a lot of people, partner with people. That's how they do.
Like time share an airplane?
Yeah, like we could go partners on one. Let me know.
I'm going to go partners on
Yeah,
one.
sure.
Okay. You'll have to fly it all the time.
That's all right.
Until I learn. Yeah. Awesome. All right, John. I appreciate you. Man.
All right.
I hear people in your office.
Yeah.
So
All right.
staff meeting time.
It is.
And John's also a proud Rotarian. He's got
Yes.
his Rotary pin on right
My
there.
International Fellowship of Flying Rotarians.
I love it. That's fantastic with the little wings on there.
Mhm.
And just a huge supporter for the community. And, I love this guy. He's awesome. And willing to help with everything.
Oh, hey.
So,
We're all in this together, right?
Yeah.
One last thing.
Yeah.
Is we have an air show next year,
yes.
June 8th and 9th.
How many years has it been going now?
This will be 3 years since we've had one.
Okay.
And
who's-
Blue Angels are going to headline.
Blue Angels are going to be here next year.
Yep.
And when is it? June
8th and 9th.
June 8th
Yeah,
and 9th.
sometime probably November, December time frame, you'll hear an F-18 get in here with a blue one.
Nice.
They do their winter visit, so they come and meet with us and go over everything for next year.
Very nice. Anybody else that you can announce yet?
Not yet. We have the air show convention in December, and that's when we'll kind of start picking the rest of the acts.
But the Blue Angels will be back.
Yep.
That's awesome.
They'll be back.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
That'll be super fun.
All right.
All right, John. I'm going to
Okay,
pan this
thanks.
camera around real
All right.
quick, and I know you got something to get to.